Say hello. This is my bathtub baby. So I gave birth to this baby boy in that bathtub right there. And this labor was so different than my first. It was so fast. And this is my first natural birth, and it really wasn't, I say it was and wasn't, but like all in all, it wasn't that bad. Okay, it was crazy hard. But like leading up till the hard part was like super easy. So let's back up. The night before, I had about 7 contractions that I could sleep through. I only woke up because my firstborn woke me up to nurse. And so then I noticed them. Then I went to church, had a few contractions while worshiping. That was pretty cool. The lady in the bathroom asked me, do you want to give birth today? I can pray for it if you do. And look at her. It worked. I don't even know her. But anyway, then on the way home from church, we stopped for lunch, and I felt a gush sitting in the restaurant. And it was kind of fun because the people beside me were like, what's going on? Are you okay? And I was like, I have some blood. Like you could see blood in the seat. That's how much blood came out. And I said, I guess labor's begun. And it just felt like the movies, like, like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Rush to the hospital. But obviously not, I'm doing a home birth. So I called my midwife because I'm like, blood can't be a good thing. And she said, it's fine. That was at 11:24. She said it was totally fine. It just means that your cervix is doing changes. It could still be today. It could be tomorrow. And we just went home. We went for a walk and tried to keep labor progressing. Very nice, slow walk, drink my water, stopped when contractions came to breathe through them. Came home, took a nap with my son, and that's when I realized, I can't really lay down through these anymore. So I stood up. We finished cleaning the house because a home birth, you actually have to prep your house, not just prep your bag. And we just got the supplies out. And it was interesting because we would be mopping the floor, and then I'd say, Austin, and he'd come over and do the hip squeeze on my back because I had back labor, which I had with my first as well. We'd get through it, and then we'd go back to doing our thing. We were so busy, and I think that helped because my mind was very occupied. And then I'd say, Austin, and he'd run over. And Waylon was awake for a lot of that, which is my firstborn, and that was really fun. And Austin would say, you want to help Mama? And he'd put his hand on my leg. I decided to hop into the shower, which is game changer. I highly recommend that. I didn't need hip squeezes while I had the hot water running on my back. I wish I had more hot water, but it ran out. So then I got out. My neighbor came to help. That was nice. So I remember when she walked in, it started getting more and more intense. And so when she walked in, it's like I could release some of those emotions. So I started like crying. And Austin said yeah, she needs some help. And just her being there was helpful. She had had home births herself, so I knew that she'd be able to help me in a way that I wouldn't know how to. I called my mom to tell her what was happening, and it was kind of sweet because I had a contraction with her on the phone. So she got to kind of be there with me. And I was, at this point, moaning through them, breathing hard, making the noises, and I had to really concentrate. And I was on the front porch, and I remember saying I gotta go, Mom, I only have 3 minutes. I gotta go because one's coming and I need Austin to push on my back. But I couldn't get to him in time, and it hurt. But then you can't move. You're just sitting there, and I got through it. It was fine. It's only a few minutes. It really is fine. Once you know, once you know what's happening and you learn more, I did a lot more mindset prep by doing the Built to Birth course. And by doing, I just mean watching and learning more about how, it's a good thing. Everything's a good thing. And it's not something to be afraid of. It was at 4:50 that I said to the midwives, contractions are coming every couple of minutes and pretty painful. I'll start timing them to get better idea of the timing. She says, are you still able to talk and walk through them? I said no. And then I said, they are 3 minutes apart. She said, I'm going to give you a call. At this point now it's 5:20. So she calls me. It took me a while to time them and decide to text them and blah, blah, blah in between that initial text. So at 5:20, she calls me and is like, do you want to wait 30 minutes? Like, how are you feeling? Now, at this point, I think, like, we've got 12 hours left because my labor with my firstborn, I think, was 20 hours. So I'm like, we have plenty of time. I'm not going to try and get them to come here and just sit around. And the hip squeezes were working. I didn't really need, like, any guidance on what to do. So I was like, yeah, let's just wait 30 minutes. I'm sure it's going to be fine. So then I call her back at 5:34, just like 14 minutes later. And I'm like, yeah, I think you should come. Which is a very good thing I did that, because if I didn't, I do not think they would have made it in time for the birth. So that was at 5:34. They texted me, they're about an hour away. Yeah, they have to get ready too. So their ETA was 6:50. Now get this, they got here at 6:50. I gave birth at 7:51. It takes them an hour to get here. If I had waited one more hour, they would not have made it. I just remember my first labor, all the prep to 10 centimeters dilated was so hard, and I was so scared, and like I just didn't know what to do, and it was so painful, and I thought I could not do any worse than this, which pushing's gonna be worse. So like I can't do worse than this, so how am I gonna do this? That was my mindset with my first. But this one, like each contraction was like, I mean, it was really hard, but like, I don't know, was it? Like I just felt like the hip squeeze is really, okay, it was really hard. You know, you have a little bit of bliss afterwards, but it's been about a month. But I just feel like the hips, like Austin pushing on my back, he had to push so hard and just right. My friend tried to do it too, and I was like, no, Austin needs to do it. And I'd have to be like, try again, Austin, try again. You're not in the right spot, try again. And only standing felt nice. Like a ball wasn't gonna help. I tried laying on pillows on the bed, that wasn't gonna help. So standing with the back squeezes was really the only thing, or the shower was really the only thing that was great. It really is like a wave of pain. So it's like, okay, it's coming, I feel it coming, I feel it coming. And then like, it's getting really bad. He's squeezing the hips. You're moaning, you're breathing in for 6, out, maybe in for 4, out for 6. You're really thinking about that, and you're trying to just like get through it. You're just leaning against something, and then it's done. And then you're like, okay, whew, let me eat a strawberry. Let me eat a beef stick or whatever, you know. Let me drink some water. And then like, you can tell when the next one's gonna come. You're like, oh, it's coming, get in position, everyone. So anyway, fast forward, the midwives come in, and at this point I am like in a lot of pain. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Because this is really hard. And they came in, and I guess I was in that like labor land mode, because like I didn't say like, hey, nice to see you, thanks for coming. Like, and I noticed them come in, but I was like focused in. I was having a contraction as they walked in. And then I remember Austin saying like, they're here, everyone's here. And they came and they like listened to the baby's heartbeat, wrote on their pad. And it was just nice to have them. And I did cry. I cried twice. Once when my neighbor friend came in, and then once when they came in. I think it's just like, oh, I can release this emotion to someone, like someone new that's coming in. Like my neighbor said, like, do you want to check her before she gets in the tub? She said she wants to get into the tub, but I figured you guys might want to check her. And they're like, it's up to you. So I was like, yeah, I'd like to know. And my friend did say, she's like, I bet you're a 7. And I was like, no way. And she's like, well, you could be. I don't want to like promise you that. And then when they checked me, again, thinking the last labor I had was like 20 hours. This one, I would say really started around 2 or 3. And I gave birth, what did we say, 7:20? It was about a 4-hour labor. That's crazy. I laid down on the bed. She checked me as far as she could. And then I was like, okay, I'm getting a contraction. I got to stand up. And she said, well, I didn't feel anything. So I think you're a 10. That's crazy. I'm a 10. You just got here. Like, we're just beginning. I didn't get to do any of my like romantic swaying with Austin and like all those romantic small moments, slow moments that I have my first labor. Like, it just happened so fast. And so they're like, she's like, I think that you might want to choose, I wanted her to bring the blue gushy tub and have the outdoor tub so I could just like do both. I don't know why. I wanted to do both. And she's like, I think you might want to just choose one because once you're in the tub, I think you're going to want to stay there. I thought she just, I think she was saying without telling me, you're about to give birth, but I'm not going to tell you that because I don't want to give you false hope. So I was like, let's do the outside one. We already had it all ready. We got it heated up by an outdoor like fire situation, which is pretty fun. I hopped in and it did feel really nice, but honestly the position didn't feel good. Like I think it would have felt better if I stood, but I really wanted to give birth in the tub. So, and I'm glad I did. Like even if it's hurting a little more, like I'm glad I did that. So I kind of squatted on hands and knees and leaned against the front of the tub. So I got in the tub at 7:20. So that was 30 minutes out in the tub. And I think I started like pushing pretty quickly into that. I was sitting in the tub and I was like, I feel like I'm going to push him out. Like I feel like, is this it? Like this surely can't be it. I mean, I know now I'm 10 centimeters, but like it didn't feel like pushing did in the hospital with the epidural. Then I felt like a lot of pressure and like I had to like bear down and hold my breath to push, and like each contraction I felt like pushing. This one, it was weird. It was like I definitely felt pressure and felt like pushing, but it kind of did feel like my body was doing it on its own. Like I was there doing it too, but like there was no stopping it. Like I don't know, I just remember like staring out into the field, breathing and moaning for a long, long, long time. My neighbor said, is she breathing? Like, because they could hear me. He's like, I didn't know if you were breathing. And I don't know if I was either. Because I was going out with the noises for a long, long time. And then, I guess, I just felt like, oh my God, I don't know how to describe it. It's so cool. It's like, oh my gosh, here he's coming. Like, I'm pushing. But it's not like no ab workout was happening. I don't know how to describe it. It's wild. First, I said, like, okay, what is happening? Because something's coming out of me. And they said, it's a fully intact water. Like, my bag didn't break. My water never broke. So I was pushing out my water bag. I guess he's inside of that, obviously. So I'm pushing him out with the water bag. So somehow, between all that, my water broke because then his head is out. And I said, like, there's his head. And I remember saying, like, now what? And even like during this whole time, I'm like, what do I do? And I was like, I can't do this. And it's funny because like their encouragement was so helpful and it was so simple. It was like, this is good. And I was like, this position hurts. Thinking like they'll be like switch positions or something. But instead she's like, that's good. That means that like things are happening. Like it's good. Everything's going good. Okay. And then like, this hurts. Like I can't do this. And they're like, you can do this. You're doing it. I'm like, okay. And they gave me water with a straw, and they started fanning me with this fan. And Austin was giving me the hip squeeze. I was holding on to these combs. That was actually pretty helpful. It's like, was it helpful? But like also, I didn't want to like not to have them. So I don't know. I guess it was helpful. It wasn't like Sarah Therese from YouTube says, it's like, I don't feel this contraction. I wish. His head's out. And I'm telling you, it was like a matter of seconds, his whole body was out. And then like Austin picked him up. They took the umbilical cord. It wasn't like around his neck, but you know, now it's all tangled up. And then I'm holding my baby. Like, I'm done. I did it. Like I could actually do that. I did that. That's crazy. And you can do it too. You can do it too. Because you know what? I did not think I could do that. Then you're holding your baby and like everyone's just like, oh my gosh. And he didn't cry, and I'm like concerned about that. And they're like, it's fine. He's just so peaceful. I mean, he came out into warm water. How peaceful is that? And, oh, baby stepping. And I like, just the endorphins were streaming because like, I was like instantly in love and like, my sweet boy, you know. And then I really wanted Waylon to be there for the whole birth, but he couldn't, because he was being a little crazy, and I did not care anymore during those contractions. He could be wherever he wanted. And I think it was good that he wasn't there because I got a little bit loud. But anyway, then we texted for the neighbor girl to bring him over, and he got to meet Stetson. He was nursing. He latched on so easy and quick. And it was just such a beautiful moment. I FaceTimed my mom, and Austin's sitting right here next to me, like kissing my cheek, and we're just looking at our baby, and like, we did it. We did it. It was a teamwork effort. Man, if I didn't have him there, that would have gone way different. Because if you don't have hip squeezes during those back labor, it is excruciating. But the hip squeezes make it from a 10 to at least a 5. We kept the cord. We didn't clamp it. We kept it going for a long, long time. We had that birth hour, dream hour, whatever it's called outside. And I remember saying to everyone, I thought I was going to get like a labor high afterwards. Like, I wanted to kind of experience that. And they just laughed. But like, I did have that. Like, I'm rewatching the video and I'm like going crazy. I'm still like making noises. I'm like, my sweet boy. Like, I was having the endorphins streaming through me. And then we all went inside. It was nighttime now. We ate I made some soup ahead of time and some cookies, and it was just perfect. It was so sweet. And we were home, and then Waylon came back, and we all fell asleep in bed. And it was just a really, really magical experience. And I'm so glad I got to experience it. And it's just something that I think everyone should experience. And now, like, I keep thinking back and thinking, like, wow, I did that. Like, wow, I can't believe I did that, because I have a low pain tolerance. So if I can do that, you can do that too. And anyway, I wouldn't change anything about it. I think it was really, really great. And God just gave me the birth I dreamed of. He really helped me through that because, you know, we were healthy. Nothing went wrong. And it was very, very painful. But like, I would do it again. So I would do it again. So anyway, now we have this sweet boy that we've been loving for a month, and he's just precious. I hope that this encourages you, and that you do a home birth too. All right, see ya.